Hello and welcome to Negative Feedback. In this episode we're going to be taking a look at some E6 slide film, and in particular we've got some Velvia 100. In there a bit. That bit, yeah. Okay. 3, 2, 1. It's just there was a bit on the right side and I wanted to match it a bit. So E6 film is actually a completely different chemistry to the normal colour negative film. So it is a bit harder to get it developed because of this, and it does actually result in a transparency as opposed to a negative. This used to be really common because it made it really easy to show each other your photos. You could just stick the slides into a projector and show everyone. Where back in the day you didn't have a mini lab to produce digital prints of all your photos from a roll, so it was really hard to show everyone without having to do everything by hand. The slides do produce pretty vivid colours, and there are a few limitations which now mean they're quite often less used because of how much harder it is to shoot with it. But they have become still really popular with landscape photographers because they give off this amazing, vivid and nicely contrast image. 3, 2, 1. Three, two, one. So I'm about to take a photo that, I guess this is my pre-warning. I actually think this photo is pretty disgusting and not very nice. But it's so bright and colourful that I thought it'd be a really good example to show how the colours of the film come out. 2, 1. Yeah.
Oh, did you get my foot?
Three, 2, 1. Okay, I'm gonna go on the other side of the road, stay there. So when you're shooting slide film, you have to be a bit more careful with your exposures and your metering because there is far less dynamic range. If you overexpose, it becomes completely white with no detail, and if you underexpose, it's completely black. So you really have to be careful and make sure you nail your metering. So I'm just going to take some portraits of Reuben. The last one is going to be on this roll, which will be developed normally in E6, and then I'm going to start another roll, which I'm going to cross-process in the colour chemistry. So it will make a negative, which should make the colours pretty wild and vibrant. So I'll give you a good example of what you can get. 3, 2, 1. Three, 2, 1. Yeah. Right, let's walk back towards Portobello. Like a blinker. So I quite often actually put off shooting slide film. I have a bunch of it stored away, but I never seem to go for it when I'm loading up a new roll. I think I'm always put off by one, the kind of risk of messing up your exposures because it is such a fine latitude, and also how vivid my images may turn out. I'm personally quite a big fan of low contrast and saturation images. However, I do think these few rolls have definitely changed my mind. I'm probably going to shoot some more very soon. I'm really happy with how everything came out. There's only actually one frame which is a tad overexposed and one frame which is a tad underexposed, which isn't bad for 2 rolls, especially considering how harsh the sunlight was that day. Some of the images do have a bit of a purple cast, which is the nature of the film, but this is really easy to remove with a simple white balance after you scanned it. Also, it is incredibly fun to actually look at the actual slides. This is something that you can only really appreciate in person, and it's definitely worth giving a go at least once. And then on the terms of the cross-process film, this definitely came out a bit wilder than I was expecting. I have seen results where they actually look relatively usable, just very vivid, but this is completely horrific. I did ask the lab if there was anything that caused this, and apparently just this is what Velvia ends up like, and some of the older Kodak films like Ektachrome actually handled the cross-process a bit better. So I'd definitely say stay clear of doing this, unless that kind of thing is your thing. It's not mine though. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next week, which is pretty exciting because it's when issue 2 of the magazine comes out. Goodbye.